foremost, I give praise and thanks to God, from whom all blessings flow. That introduction is longer than my keynote. I just told the mayor that that's the reason she thought I'd been around for generations and generations and generations. I'm going to have to get that off the internet. Just one small correction. Radio 1 is now 30 years old, not 24. I thank God for that blessing. The other thing is, I appreciate you all applauding for the Wall Street value of the company, but that's not what's important. I wish you had applauded when we talked about 1,500 people of color who are on the payroll. That's the significant part. I didn't go into this for the money, although as the chairperson of a publicly held corporation, I know that it is my fiduciary responsibility to say that my number one priority is to enhance shareholder value. So now that I've said it, I want you all to know my personal goal is to give black folks some jobs. And some women. I'm very honored to be here and humbled with the Women of Influence at the 11th Annual Minority Business Summit and the 24th Annual Engineer of the Year Conference. I have to share a story. I also, Sheila, have an 87-year-old mother who's in the midst of Alzheimer's, and the mayor, who, by the way, please, let's give Stephanie Rollins-Blake a real big round of applause. I'm real proud of you. Real proud of you. Your daddy's proud, we's proud. I told her I love it when I turn on television and she's out there seriously shoveling snow. Okay, I was like, Bill Clinton, you need to do a little better handling those bottles of water. That didn't look very convincing. Sheila is out there shoveling that snow. There is no question about it, and really had a real hard job to fit into, and you're just doing wonderfully well. We're so very proud, and all of us here, I know, are committed to doing whatever we can to be of assistance to you. But going back to Mama. Mama's watching TV with me. Mama had a little spell. She's having good days and bad days. Sheila and I were talking about that. I love the good days, and they are decreasing as the years go on, and as the days go on, actually. And so Stephanie was kind enough to offer me a position on one of her transition committees, and I said yes, and then Mom got sick. So Mom's in the bed and we're watching TV, and there's LaRon Finney on television. And so I'm helping her understand that today I'm going to be here at the 11th Annual Minority Business Summit. And LaRon Finney is the gentleman who invited me and made it possible for me to be here. She said, well, can you find out if he's single? And if he is, can you tell him I'm interested? So LaRon, I want you to know that you may end up being my father. She said, you make certain you say something he's going to remember you by so he can remember me. I think that it's really befitting this morning that we are in the Billie Holiday Ballroom. Billie Holiday, the Baltimore legend, who taught all of us, women and men alike, the theme song for entrepreneurs, the theme song for minorities in business. God bless the child who's got his own. Now, I just want to start off this morning by saying, if there's anybody in this room who does not believe that God will bless you and your business and see you through these very challenging economic times, then you are probably at the wrong breakfast table. But I encourage you to stay with us anyway, and you might be inspired and encouraged to stay in business, to hang in there until your business turns that elusive corner of profit and success. I know that a lot of hard-nosed business people don't put a lot of credence in spirituality. I also know that on numerous occasions when I've been interviewed and the journalist wants to ask me, what did I do? to stay the course during difficult times and economic challenges. And I answered that I prayed. I could tell by the look on their face that that was not the answer that they were looking for, but that was the truth. I earnestly believe that faith is one of the key elements in achieving your entrepreneurial goals. You have to have faith in God, faith in yourself, faith in your product or service, faith in your staff, faith in your clients, and the faith to know, to feel in every ounce of your existence that if you truly do everything that you can humanly do to make your venture a success, then God will bless you because you are the child who's got his own. If you have faith, then you will believe that you and your business will be successful. And guess what? If you believe it, it will happen. This week marks the beginning of the 2010 Christian season known as Lent. The day before yesterday, officially known as Ash Wednesday, signals the beginning of the Lenten season, a time when churches encourage us to give up something. Now, of course, they're not talking about the cash, but they want you to give up something for Lent. Now, I'm a reader of the Daily Word, and the word for Wednesday was belief. The teaching for the day was that this is a great opportunity for us to turn away from beliefs that limit or bind us. A great time for us to begin giving up certain states of mind, certain words, and certain ways. Now, basically, the message of the day was telling us that what we should give up for Lent is failure. And I was thinking, as I was reading it, now that's a pretty good idea. Give up failure for Lent. Give up as in refrain from words like business is terrible. I've never seen the economy this bad before. Employees, they just don't want to work for their money anymore. That's one client I could certainly live without. Or the universal, child, please, don't even ask. Give up, as in refrain from, telling Lottie-Dottie and everybody who will listen about the contract that you should have had or the promotion that should have been yours. Resist the temptation to steal an employee from a smaller company, not so much because you need that person's skill, but more because you're trying to, quote, cripple the competition. Now, I want to talk a minute about that point of crippling the competition, because I do not believe that Black-owned and women-owned businesses are large enough as of yet to be in competition with each other. Minority businesses are not in competition with each other. We are in competition with majority-owned companies, not minorities. Now, I know that the day will come when some of us will be true competitors in business with each other, but that ain't today. And that's not to say that in this day and time that some of us won't find ourselves in a position every once in a while where two or more, perhaps, of us are going after the same piece of business. I know this will happen, but I also know that we should not be trying to kill each other off and expect for any of us to be able to thrive, let alone survive. While we're busy falling out with each other, the real competition is getting the opportunity and is happy sometimes because sometimes they're responsible for pitting us against one another for the contract that they end up with. So we don't need to, make that we should not ever do anything to cripple another minority business. Remember, you don't have to, because the marketplace is the real terminator. I saw a commercial the other night on television that said 40,000 businesses failed every day. I couldn't help but wonder how many of those were, quote, minority businesses. But I'm confident that none of the women of influence in this room are going to be in that statistic, because we have decided to give up failure for Lent. If there were ever a time when business women needed to partnership, to bond, to look out for each other in deals and in opportunities, that time is now. Even though in 1900, Booker T. Washington founded the National Negro Business League, an organization to foster black business growth and development. It was Madam C.J. Walker who in 1918 became the very first woman, I did not say first black woman, I said the very first woman entrepreneurial millionaire this country ever produced. And the reason that Madam C.J. Walker was able to become the very first woman in business to become a millionaire is because of those countless sisters in those beauty parlors and those sisters in those salon chairs who had Madam Walker's back. Even though she was the sole proprietor, those sisters shows us that African Americans have always drawn closer together and had strategies that emphasize the importance of wealth building and business development in tough economic times. There's no denying that we are in the midst of truly tough economic times for businesses in America. But please never forget that we gave up failure for Lent. I will gladly repeat myself, the need for unity, particularly in the world of women-owned businesses, is now greater than ever before. This is a great opportunity for me to segue and salute and congratulate the 4 brilliant, beautiful, and committed women of influence who are being honored this morning at breakfast and throughout the 11th Minority Business Summit. I would not only like to salute Sheila Hughes Johnson, but also her daughter Morgan. Morgan, will you stand up, please, so we can give you a big round of applause? One of our future leaders, and certainly the youngest member here today. Sheila Hughes Johnson, I would also like to thank you for your pivotal role with the Minority Supplier Development Council. You've made a difference, not just during your 28 years at McCormick, opening the doors for women and people of color, but you've opened the doors for many minority businesses, and I thank you so much. In the area of education, one of my very favorite elected officials, the Honorable Senator Joan Carter Conway, who ain't scared. In the area of advocacy, Donna Jacobs in the University of Maryland Medical Center, you all do so very much. Tom Joyner is really big on this, take a loved one to the doctor, which I think is so very important, because I come from a family of health professionals. I have 3 uncles and an aunt who are doctors. I have 2 brothers. My mother's an RN, my sister's an RN, so I know that unfortunately in our community we don't go to the doctor until it's almost too late for the doctor to do anything to help save us. So I thank you, because one of the things that's very important in all of the medical systems is to be able to effectively relate and communicate with the Black community and the Hispanic community, and I thank you for that. In the area of politics, I should have sat not next to Sheila, but I should have slid over next to Lisa, because this girl performed a miracle. Now, that computer services tax was already on the books, and right now, it's the common wisdom and knowledge is easier to stop something before it becomes a law. It is nothing short of a miracle when it becomes a law and you get it reversed. And so I just got to really salute Attorney Lisa Harris Jones, because that's incredible. You've done incredible work for the city of Baltimore, but what you did in repealing that, which also I hope you all understand, made it possible for so many more jobs to be available in the state of Maryland. That was the key. I'm all about jobs and food too, but jobs are really key. And I would just like to take a moment. I think that we applauded them as we came up, and McCormick stood up for Sheila, and then Marilyn stood up. But I think we all need to stand up for these 4 women of influence and give them a standing ovation for the incredible work they do. Thank you, ladies. Incredible. 4 great women to be recognized. If you haven't heard my reality radio spots that LaRon talked about, it means that you have not listened to 92Q, you have not listened to Magic 95.9, you have not listened to Larry Young and WOB Talk or Gospel WWIN, because God knows I've been sounding the alarm of danger for almost a year. The reality is that Black-owned radio is a mere pebble on the massive and powerful beach called media. There are 11,000 plus licensed radio stations in the United States. 240 out of 11,000 plus are Black-owned. Let me say that again. 240 out of 11,000 plus are Black-owned. Of the 240, 53 belong to me. So when you subtract that, no, that's not a proud statistic. Not at all. That's nothing for us to be proud of or to applaud. That's shameful, as important as Black radio is in the lives of people of color. During this economic turndown, Black radio has experienced annual losses that have ranged from 25 to 47% of their revenue. Historic WAMO, W-A-M-O, in Pittsburgh was recently sold to the Catholic Archdiocese. I do not think the Catholic Church is going to be playing very much Mary J. Blige. WBLS in New York City, with the largest Black audience in the country, had to solicit and receive federal intervention to avoid bankruptcy in the last 90 days. Radio One has had to displace nearly 400 employees. We are presently working a 4-day administrative work week, and we have imposed salary reductions up to 25% on all staff who make over $30,000 a year. But thank God, because of diversification and strong management and a very dedicated staff, Radio One is the most solvent of all of the Black-owned companies. So the proposed piece of congressional legislation known as the performance tax would not put Radio One out of business, but it would greatly alter our ability to provide free talk radio and free FM gospel. Neither one of those formats are self-sustaining. We subsidize both of those formats because it is the right thing to do. Information is power. Black folks deserve to have a voice. And praising the Lord should not be relegated to AM radio stations. It should be on FM powerhouses the same way. Plus, I gave up failure for Lent. Make that for life, because I plan to continue being in the company of all of you distinguished women of influence. Thank you, and God bless.